All right, good morning, everybody. It's your boy Akeem, and welcome to today's vlog. Here to give you a preview of Week 12 of the 2015 college football season. Now, we had some tight races among divisions for each respective conference in college football. We are headed closer towards the end of the season, and I am very excited to see what happens. I think we're going to end up going through a big spiral of who will make the top four teams to make it to the college football playoff. Now, I'm going to actually start off with tonight's matchup between Toledo and at Bowling Green. Max Schools for Bowling Green, they already won the Eastern Division Championship, and they will make it to the MAC Championship. For Toledo, they are looking to stay alive to make it to represent the West Division for the MAC Conference. And this matchup is going to be very interesting. Dino Babbitt's defense, of Brian Ward's defense, the defensive coordinator for Bowling Green, I think they're going to have to really focus on stopping the run and running backs Terry Swanson and Kareem Hunt, and put more pressure on quarterback Philip Eli in order for them to have a chance of winning. Now, the game is going to be at Bowling Green, and this is a good Toledo team going 8-1, but I believe that Bowling Green has too much weapons in their arsenal with all their great wide receivers, as well as a couple of good running backs with Travis Green leading the way and Fred Copeland as his backup. In this matchup, I have to go with Bowling Green over Toledo in this game. Next up, sticking in the MAC Conference, Western Michigan is going to be playing at Northern Illinois. These two teams are in the West Division, and they're in a tight race. Both these two teams do have one loss in conference play thus far in the season, tying for first place along with Toledo. Now, the game is at Northern Illinois, but Hutsey is going to have to play with, they are going to play with freshman quarterback Ray Graham, who is replacing Drew Hare as the starter for the remainder of the season. This is going to be a good game for you guys to watch. For Western Michigan, last week against Bowling Green, I believe that the Broncos definitely had a chance of winning, but they had one too many miscues on offense. I think they're going to need to get things together offensively. Now, I think this is going to be a game for Northern Illinois to win because they did play well last season against the Broncos, and I think they have a good running back in Joel Bogdan. I have to go with the Huskies over the Broncos in that matchup. Headed over to the Mountain West Conference and the Mountain Division between Boise State hosting Air Force. This is going to be a good game. Both these two teams are 7-3 overall. Now, Air Force have a great running attack with Jacoby Owens leading the team in rushing. Now, for Boise State, they have a good running back as well with McNichols, and they have Stanback, their leading receiver, with over 1,200 yards receiving this season, one of the nation's leading receivers this year. Now, for Boise State, because they have too many good weapons offensively, and I think they have a good balance of passing and running the football, I'm going to have to go with the Broncos over on the Falcons in this one. Next up, in the American Conference, between number 22 Temple hosting number 21 Memphis. Now, both these two teams suffered losses last week, where Temple got crushed by South Florida, and for Memphis, they suffered a loss, a close, heartbreaking loss to Houston, and I did pick Houston to win in that matchup. Now, this is going to be a great game for Temple. They need to do a better job keeping containment and stopping the run. They've been struggling for the past couple of weeks. They got ran all over by Deshaun Kaiser from Notre Dame and Marlon Mack from South Florida last week. Now, for Memphis, they definitely have a good quarterback in Paxton Lynch, but he definitely needs to get the football into the end zone. He's been struggling in the most recent weeks. For Temple, they have a good pass defense compared to the run defense, and Memphis is still getting things together running the football, with Dorsey as Dorland leading the team in rushing. I'm going to have to go with Temple in this one because they have such a better pass defense and a better overall defense over Memphis in this game. Next up, number 14, Michigan is going to be playing at Penn State. Michigan is 8-2, while the Nittany Lions are 7-3. James Franklin has been doing a pretty good job as head coach. Same with the incoming new head coach Jim Harbaugh, leading the team 8-2 overall, with close losses to Utah and Michigan State. Should have won that Michigan State game. Same with the Utah matchup. I think this team should be undefeated so far. I know I'm giving you guys shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but I think that Michigan should be undefeated thus far in the season and possibly making it to the college football playoff at the end of the year. This is going to be a good game, but I'm going to have to go with the Wolverines in this matchup. Next up, heading over to the SEC Conference, as number 9 LSU is going to be playing at Ole Miss. Now, LSU got ran over by Alex Collins of Arkansas last week in Baton Rouge in their home field. This week they're going to be playing at Ole Miss, and I'm very scared for Leonard Fournette and that ground attack for LSU. Teams are starting to figure them out, and I think they just need to continue to do things defensively for upcoming defenses against LSU, and I think that Ole Miss will do the same and keep containment against the run and putting more players in the box and just force on stopping Leonard Fournette and pour pressure towards Brandon Harris and throwing the football and becoming an effective passer. Brandon Harris has shown a couple of good passes throwing the football, but he has not been consistent as a passing quarterback. I'm gonna have to go with Ole Miss in this one with one of my upset games of the week, and I do have many upsets for you guys. Next up, Oregon's going to be hosting USC. The Trojans are looking to stay alive in the South Division of the Pac-12 Conference, while Oregon upset Stanford last week, but Stanford still controls their own destiny in representing the North. This is going to be a good game for you guys to watch, and I think that Oregon's going to spoil USC's season. I'm going to have to go with the Ducks winning back-to-back big wins in the Pac-12 Conference. Next up, still talking about the Pac-12 Conference, as number 19 UCLA is going to be traveling to face number 10 Utah. Both these two teams are in the South Division of the Pac-12 Conference. This is going to be the most important matchup for both these two teams. I think I'm going to have to go with Utah in this one. I think their defense is going to do just good enough in stopping on Josh Rawson and that passing attack. UCLA does have a good running back in Paul Perkins, and the Utes are definitely not going to be sleeping on that particular running back. I'm actually have to go back to the Big Ten and a good complimentary matchup for you guys, as Wisconsin is going to be hosting number 18 Northwestern. Wisconsin is ranked 25th in the nation, and they're only one game behind Iowa, in which their lone loss in conference play this season, while Iowa is still undefeated. I'm going to have to go with this good Northwestern team. Wisconsin still, I'm not confident in Joe Staffy and the passing attack. They depend more on running the football, and I think that Northwestern has a good defense to stop the run. I'm going to have to go with the Wildcats over the Badgers in this one. Next up, a good Big 12 matchup between number 6 Baylor at number 8 Oklahoma State. A good Big 12 showdown, and Oklahoma State is undefeated and trying to make it to the playoff. If they remain undefeated, they should make the playoff come towards the end of the season. But I'm going to have to go with another upset game of the week. I'm going to have to go with Baylor over Oklahoma State. Despite the fact that Baylor is ranked 6th while Oklahoma State is ranked 8th, this is still a major upset. Not a major upset if Baylor wins this matchup, and I think I have to go with the Bears in this one. They did suffer their first loss last week against Oklahoma, and I think they're going to take the vengeance out on the Cowboys. And like I said in many weeks, these past recent weeks, I'm still shocked to see the Cowboys still undefeated. I have to give Mike Gundy a lot of credit, but I'm going to have to go with the Bears in this one, going against Oklahoma State again. Next up, number 15 TCU is going to be playing at number 12 OU Oklahoma. TCU is banged up with quarterback Trevor Boykin dealing with a leg injury and a wrist injury in the star wide receiver and Josh Doctson. This means Aaron Green is going to have to put more work in and load it on him. He did rush for 177 yards last week against Kansas, and the Horned Frogs did struggle against the Jayhawks last week. I think that OU is going to spank the Horned Frogs in this matchup. Next up, number 7, Stanford is looking to stay alive in the Pac-12 North Division to win the Pac-12 North Division outright, and then they play the game against Cal. Cal has been struggling this season with Jared Goff at quarterback. He is one of the top prospects for the 2016 NFL Draft. The game is going to be playing at Stanford, and Stanford still has a good, respectable defense. I'm going to have to go with the Cardinals in this one, and when they do win this game, they will make it to the Pac-12 championship. Lastly, my game of the week, as number 13 Michigan State is going to be playing at number 3 Ohio State, the Ohio State University. This is going to be a major matchup for you guys. Last season, Ohio State pulled off the upset at East Lansing, and this year, this is going to be my top upset game of the week. I'm going to go with the Spartans in this matchup to spoil things up in the college football playoff. Ohio State had too many close calls this season, and Michigan State is still a good team defensively. I think that Mark D'Antonio is going to do a good job in making good strategies and stopping JT Barrett and even stopping Ezekiel Elliott. Now, the offensive line for Ohio State is great, and Ezekiel Elliott is fabulous, but I think this defense is going to do good enough just to slow Elliott down, and I think they're going to do well as far as their secondary and keeping and covering both Braxton Miller as well as leading receiver Michael Thomas. I'm going to have to go with the Spartans in this one as my upset game of the week and the game of the week overall. Now, the next time I catch you guys will be on Saturday, in which I will give you a preview of this week's, not a preview, a recap of this week's games. Thank you for watching today's vlogs. I'm your man, Akeem McCall. Be easy.